What's happening? Still a nation. What is popping? My lady is calling me. Y'all gonna see me answer this in real time. Watch this. Just started the show. What's up? All right, I'll call you back. All right. See how I do, guys? It's real life. Real life. My wife is out of town, so y'all already know I'm answering the call. So, yeah. You already know I'm answering the call. My wife is out of town, man. You know, sometimes she has to travel to NYC for work. Sometimes I go with her. Sometimes I don't. She had to go this morning. She'll be back tomorrow. But y'all know I'm answering that. Gotta answer that. But what's happening, guys? My bad. Hope everybody's doing well. I hope you're enjoying your Tuesday so far. Give me 2 seconds, guys. I'm just going to let a few more of you guys gather in here. Say hello to each other. One thing I forgot to do is to share the link out on Facebook. You know, I don't really use Facebook often, but, you know, I've joined a couple groups in there, and I post the link in there, and I forgot to do it, so I'm going to do it right now. You guys don't mind, right? And I'll be right to you guys in just a moment. And you guys do that as well, man. You know, help me out. If you guys, feel like you should share, or, you know someone who would get something out of this show or want to be a part of the movement, our little Steeler family over here, please do that. Please do that, man. I appreciate that in advance. But like I said, give me 2 shakes of a rattlesnake, and I will be right with ya. But how's everyone doing? I hope everyone is well, man. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. I noticed I don't really talk about you guys' weekend and anything like that. We talk on Tuesdays. So I should always say, hope you guys had a great weekend, and hopefully you're off to a great start as well to your week. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's say hello to the early commenters, and then we're going to do a moment of silence here in a moment. We'll get to that. But yeah, man, let's say hello to the early folk in the building. My man, why dig in the building? Brent Fox, Zuri Rivers. I think, if I remember correctly, is Zuri, I can't remember. Are you a female listener or not? That's kind of a unisex name. But for some reason, it's playing back to me like I think I may have asked that question before. But if you are, please let us know that, because we say hello to our ladies. We treat our ladies the right way over here. And yeah, man, like my man Brent Fox just said, man, I'm going to start reminding you guys throughout the broadcast. Smash that like button. Hit the subscribe button. Cut on your notification. Let's see who else we got in here. Charlie Brown. Hello, Lanisha. Miss Lanisha in the building. Make sure you give a special hello to Lanisha and all of the other ladies that'll be in here tonight. Dietrich Bundick, Jules Jones, Jared Devil, Cutboy 412, Joshua Shields, Luis D, Leon Harris, Steelers Girl. That's got to be a female listener, right? Hello, Miss Lady. How you doing tonight? Seeing your name quite a few times. So, and I think you changed your name before. I could be confusing you with someone else, but I think I could be wrong there. But anyway, I've definitely seen Steelers Girl quite a few times. So make sure you say hello to her as well. Who else we got up in here? Sonny Rothmiller. What's up, man? Zori says, I'm Mel. I'm one that always calls you Unc. Okay, got you. Like I said, my bad, brother. I couldn't remember. But I actually know a couple guys named Zori. I don't know if you pronounce it like that, but that's why I was like, it's a unisex name. So, yeah, but shout outs to you, man. And you'll probably be calling tonight. Stillmatic. Who else? That's about it right now. Okay. All right, let's do it. Very, very short cycle as far as the news. Not a whole lot to get into. We'll see how long the show goes, but you guys know this is one of the slower periods. So, I'm not really looking for the longest show. I'm going to cut the timer on anyway, but, we'll see how that goes. But I don't have a whole lot to get into tonight, man. My main topics really, just to give you guys a heads up on that. Let me get to them. 1 second. What's going on with my mouse, man? Okay, my mouse is bugging. Hold on. What? Y'all hear me sliding all around? Mouse is tripping. Here we go. My topics for tonight. I think I need to get a new mouse pad, actually. Topics tonight, man. We're going to talk about the Steelers. Still trying to satisfy, or rather, might I say, they're not satisfied with currently the inside linebacker position because they have a couple guys at minicamp to try out. We'll talk a little bit about Grady Brown, kind of alluding to who has a chance or who will be competing for the slot corner position. And then we'll talk a little bit about Najee Harris, speaking in regards to, where Calvin Austin might fare on the offense. And I think that's about all I got, man. I don't think I have anything else noteworthy, but hold on. Let me just take another quick gander and see if there's anything else that I may have missed. And of course, anything that you guys may have shared in the comments, hopefully I see it. Let's see. Was there anything else worth noting? I don't think so. I mean, obviously, guys, Alex Highsmith, the question is whether or not he's going to get an extension this offseason. I mean, conventional wisdom would say he would, but we'll see how that goes. I don't think there's anything else. I did want to speak on one little thing, man. Kenyon sent me and Tony a text. It was a picture of Cam Hayward and Larry Ogunjobi. And Larry Ogunjobi is looking bigger than Cam Hayward in that photo. And, Carl Dunbar also had something to say about him, man, as far as if he's healthy, then he could be great. And honestly, man, listen, I think we all can kind of share in that. If you recall the season that he had last year, excuse me. And wait a minute, I see a donation in there. I'm seeing it late, my bad. So round of applause to my man, Luis Diaz, and I'll get back to my point about Ogunjobi. Round of applause. Thank you very much for the donation. Appreciate that. He says, looking younger, my brother. Okay. All right. Trying to. I don't know what I did. Maybe it's all of this water that I be drinking. Just trying to keep myself together, man. I recommend we all do that as a people. Try to be as healthy as you can. Whether it shows externally or not, you make sure those insides, you take care of those insides. Let's see. He says, did you catch the podcast of Pat Pete and Brian McFadden where they had Troy Polamalu? It got me emotional. No, I did not. I did see that Polamalu, I think that there was a quote somewhere that said he kind of talked about how he knew when it was over. So I'm definitely going to watch that. I definitely want to watch that. Anytime a guy like Troy Polamalu speaks, with that soft-spoken voice of his, you want to hear what he has to say, because guys like Polamalu, they don't, these cats don't just regularly talk. You know what I'm saying? They usually have something to say. I'll even kind of throw Marshawn Lynch in that category, even though I already knew what time it was with Marshawn Lynch. Marshawn Lynch just didn't talk to the media. But, if you know him, you can tell what type of dude he is off camera. But again, guys like that, when they do an interview, I'm going to listen because they probably got something to say. It's probably worthy to listen to. I don't know if you guys caught it when Ryan Clark, I think a year or two ago, he had on his own podcast, not the Pivot, but I think he had another situation. It was him, Polamalu, and Ike Taylor. That was a good listen as well. So I would definitely recommend it. I haven't watched it yet. I will. I'm going to check that out. And so maybe it'll make us all emotional. But thanks for sharing that, Luis. Getting back to Larry O. Man, listen, you guys remember how much I talked about him last year. You probably recall when I was pounding the table saying, look, they need to try to re-sign this dude during the season because my fear was that he was going to hit free agency. Larry Ogunjobi did some things for us last year, particularly against the run. And, they're talking about when healthy. So maybe he wasn't 100%, 100% healthy. But again, I love what Larry O brought to that defense last year. Remember, I kept saying it. We were judging him and guys like Jack kind of saying who's going to be the guys who are helping us out. Miles Jack did some things for us early, but not so much throughout the duration of the season. But a guy like Eric, Ogunjobi was showing, when he played, he was showing up at times. And me just envisioning, again, it all, is based on whether guys stay healthy or not in this, grueling football, right? But it just makes you think, man, what could be if we could have a consistent, sub-package rush of TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, Cam Hayward, and Larry Ogunjobi. Come on, man. And Ogunjobi also, again, playing against the run. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But like I said, man, if you haven't gotten a chance to take a look at that, I think Kenyon saw it on Twitter. Look at that photo. Ogunjobi looks like he packed on a few, but in the right way. He looks big and, in shape. So, yeah, it's always good to see guys, at this point of the season already in shape, because then you would expect that they would only continue to do that and go into training camp in shape. So we'll see. And of course, minicamp started this week. Let's see. Let's talk a little bit about, actually, hold on. I think we have enough people in here right now. Let me see how many of you guys in here. I wanted to make sure I did this when as many of us as possible was in here. Sorry for that background noise right there. Yeah, we got about 56 people watching live. What I want to do first, man, is I want to give a quick moment of silence. Let me pause my music. A moment of silence, man, for Stan Severin. For those of you that may or may not know, passed away, just a day or so ago. And Stan, if you, obviously, if you're from Pittsburgh, you would know that I'm not from Pittsburgh, I just live in Pennsylvania. But if you followed the Steelers intently, and I'm not talking about just watching the games. If you're one of those nutcases like me that, listen to everything, listen to Bob Papiani and Charlie Batch, or, listen to guys like Greg Wolfley and when Tunch and, all of these different personalities from the Steelers, there's no way you don't know who Stan Severin is. And unfortunately, man, passed away. I think they said he was 76 years old. To me, that's older, but it's not super old. People live longer than that. So, I know people like to always say, oh, they lived a fulfilled life and all of that. Yeah, man. But, when you are a spry 76, that's not old. It doesn't come across old to the people who know you and love you. So, like I said, I definitely wanted to give that moment of silence right now. So yeah, bear with me as I do so. All right, so here goes. All right, man, rest in peace to Stan Severin, and we're gonna do a round of applause for everything that he was to Steeler Nation. All right. Rest in peace. Rest in peace. All right, man. Let's get into a little bit of what Najee Harris reportedly has talked a little bit about. And guys, make sure y'all can hear me. Yeah, y'all can. Okay, great. Because Kenyon just posted. It talked about Calvin Austin a little bit, and Najee was quoted as saying that he's going to be featured a lot in the offense. My question is how? And that's why I've titled this particular show the way I did, because there's no real meat and potatoes topic tonight, but everything is asking questions. All of my three topics. I want to know exactly how Calvin Austin will be featured. What is the plan? What do you guys foresee for Calvin Austin? I know naturally people are going to say slot, right? I get that. But again, going back to his college tape, this guy played primarily outside. This guy is a burner. This guy was utilized a lot on the deep route. Could you run slot fades to him? Absolutely. But I don't want to just pigeonhole him to be in the slot, because honestly, I do want those opportunities where we can use a big slot. Like an Allen Robinson. I wanted to be interchangeable in terms of who we use in the slot, but I don't want to just have it to where, okay, Calvin Austin comes in the game, lines up at a certain spot, and oh, okay, there's a couple things they're probably going to do with him because he's in the slot. Nah, I would love for us to be able to put him on the outside too and make defenses have to think, what are they doing with him? I would also love to see him in jet sweep action, of course, because he has the speed. I mean, that's not going to go away. Matt Canada is going to run a jet sweep here and there. It is what it is, and I'm not too mad at it. I see other offenses do it. Honestly, if we take our feelings out of it, we were kind of successful with it last season. Times when we ran it, we picked up some yards. I'm not mad at that. I just don't want it to be a gimmick thing. So my question is, what plans do they have for him? Again, Najee Harris saying, they're expecting him to have a big role and be utilized a lot. So my only comment to that is I hope that we are utilizing him in a way where it's not so predictable. And I look forward to seeing how we utilize his skill set. Actually, I'm very interested in seeing what he actually brings to the table. Because again, I know what his skill set was at his college tape, but last season we never got a chance to see him, not even in preseason. So I'm very excited to see what he brings, number one, and I'm excited to see how they may use him. So that's all I got on that. Again, just quick report saying that Najee Harris was quoted as saying that, so we shall see. The next topic I have, man, is the Steelers clearly are not satisfied with their depth and who they have at the inside linebacker position. The reason why I say that, well, we go all the way back to Quan Alexander. We know the Steelers brought in Quan Alexander. To my knowledge, Quan still hasn't signed with anyone, but he has also not signed with the Pittsburgh Steelers. And the Steelers continue to look at free agent help, veteran help at that position. It was reported today, let me bring up my notes, that the Steelers brought in Jermaine Carter Jr. and Nick. I do not know how to pronounce this guy's last name. I'm familiar with his name. I will spell it for you. It is Nick, Kwiatkkoski. I can't remember how to pronounce this dude's name, but I do know him, seen him in the NFL, so the name is very recognizable. I just never knew how to pronounce it. And honestly, I haven't watched either one of these guys in the NFL to tell you what they are and what they aren't. My only point of bringing this up is just to say that these guys are clearly still looking to add a veteran at inside linebacker. So I love this transparency from the Steelers, and they did a little bit of that with Colbert. But I love how the Steelers, and it's funny because other people, media pundits would say the Steelers got to do a better job with hiding their intentions, but they clearly are showing you what they want to do. Right? It's clear. It seems like lately it's never a mystery. We can all sit back and say, okay, this is what they're trying to do, and whether that's draft or free agency. So clearly they're still trying to get better at inside linebacker. Again, right now you're really only looking at Cole Holcomb and Elandon Roberts and Mark Robinson, that are your bona fide three people at that position. There's some other guys here and there. What are those little hearts going off? Y'all see that? Okay, I guess there's a way for me to add a little comment to something, but I saw these hearts flying in this comment section. But yeah, so we'll see. Again, I haven't watched any of these guys in the NFL to really count, give a comment on what these guys will or won't be for the Steelers. It's just something to keep an eye on. And I'm ecstatic by it. I'm ecstatic at the fact that they're not settling. Remember, I talked about that a few weeks ago. It seems like clearly with Omar Khan running the show as far as the new regime, from the GM down to the assistant GM and down to how they're approaching everything, Mike Tomlin included, the Steelers are not settling, right? It seems like they're not content with just going with what they got. They're going to continue to try to make the roster stronger. And granted, you could probably say that we did that in the Colbert years as well to some degree, but not this aggressively. Not this aggressively, man, from the way we drafted and went after free agents during the free agent period, and now how we continue to bring in competition in all of these spots. They look very non-content in terms of just settling with what they got. Because how many times, guys and gals, how many times have we looked at our Steelers at the start of the season and said, well, I guess they just going to go in with what they got? I can't necessarily say that this year. You know, you could always argue the players that they brought in, but I don't think you can walk away from this offseason and say that they didn't try to get the best 53 or at least the best 90 to bring in camp. I don't think you can say that this year. So it's a good turnaround, and it's a good thing to see. Good thing to see. So yeah, that's all I got about on that. We'll see what happens from tryouts. And actually, let me check one other thing, man. Because sometimes I'm behind in my information. Give me a second. Let me just make sure that there wasn't any recent signings, anything that we didn't talk about. I think we got them all last week. Let's see. And don't mind me, guys, doing this stuff in real time. Y'all know I keep it a buck with y'all. I don't mind. Did not hear Mike Tomlin's conference today, so don't really have any comments on that. Yeah, okay, so last thing we talked about, we already talked about that last week. The last signings, still Jared Williams, offensive lineman, and running back Darius Haggins, or however you pronounce his last name. So there you have it. Okay, and my very last topic, guys, that I got tonight is very interesting. Very interesting change of events. And I say change of events because some of these guys I would not have considered. Let me take a quick sip of water if you guys don't mind. That's another thing, guys. Get your water in. Guys and gals. Grady Brown has named 3 potential guys for slot corner. One of which I would have said, because obviously they brought him in, they signed him, he's played slot in the NFL, that would be Chandon Sullivan. These other 2 names I wouldn't have thought of. Grady Brown said that it is not only Chandon Sullivan, but Duke Dawson and Elijah Riley. Now, I have Elijah Riley in the thumbnail because I definitely would not have thought about that. I would not have thought about that whatsoever. Definitely not. His name never would have came up. Duke Dawson, sure, because I know a lot of us have said that, maybe he could play safety, maybe he could play corner, maybe slot corner. That name has come up a little bit. I still didn't think that Duke Dawson was in the running that strong, but, some of you guys even mentioned it. You even said, yeah, man, what about Duke Dawson? So I can see that one. But Elijah Riley? This is a pleasant surprise. And the reason why I say pleasant, I love when guys show themselves and force their way into a competition, a position battle, force their way on the roster. I love that. That can only mean good things for us. That doesn't mean, that's not a slight against anybody else. It's not a slight against Patrick Peterson playing in the slot. It's not a slight against any of the other guys that we may have assumed, KZ, or even, maybe not Neil so much, but some people even said that, or Trey Norwood. It's not indictment against them. However, it shows you that there's real consideration there. So I love when a guy's name perks up that you're not even thinking about. I'm telling y'all, when I say I did not even think about Elijah Riley at slot, I did not. I absolutely did not. Did not. Let me say it again. I did not. No way, shape, or form did I ever imagine Elijah Riley being a guy that I'm coming on here saying, yo, he might be the slot corner. So the boy must be doing something. Grady Brown is really praising him. So that's cool. That's a cool thing. That's a cool thing. The whole, 2 dogs, 1 bone mentality that Mike Tomlin always talks about. I'm always in favor of that. May the best man win. Right? And may the loser, if possible, be on the bench for depth. But yeah. Again, man, shout outs to Luis D's. Shout out to Luis D. Round of applause for the donation. Ha! I did see that. I did see that. I saw some rumor and conversation about that. It says rumor has it the Steelers are interested in Chase Young. I think it would be a trade. Here's the thing. The first thing I think about when they say that is I think about the time when that they have that clip of Tomlin talking to Chase Young saying, hey, I don't never want to be in a position to get a guy like you. It's like, because in order to get a guy like you got to lose a lot of games. Basically giving them praise, saying you one of them dudes that's going early. And I don't never want to be in a position where I'm picking like that. So clearly Mike Tomlin likes Chase Young. Why wouldn't you? When the dude was healthy, the dude was a dog. Question is, though, if they're going as far as to trade for him, where do they plan on playing him? Do they plan to move him inside, right? And let him be a sub-package D tackle alongside Cam Hayward and Larry Ogunjobi, and you get a rotation there? Or are you going to let him rush from the outside? Because if I'm not mistaken, the Commanders play more of a 4-3, right? Can somebody confirm that? Where I think Chase was more of like a DN. I don't think he was an edge rusher, quote unquote. I think he was more of a DN with the Commanders. Can you guys check that for me? And I'll wait for some of you guys to answer that. Am I correct in that assessment? Yeah, I think, because just thinking about their front four, it's not like our front four. And I know some people are going to say, yeah, man, but in sub package, it's a 4-man front. It is, but still, again, where does Chase play? He not dropping in coverage. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying he can't, but okay, Kenyon just say, yeah, he's a DN. Okay, thanks, Tony, as well. Not saying that you couldn't teach him to drop, but theoretically, that's not the type of guy that you want as your edge. And there's even packages in sub where you can still get him in there. So in sub package, well, not even sub package, in a base, even in a base 3-4, you can make him an end. Because you got a 3-man front and you still got your 2 edge guys, especially depending on what type of, front you show. So there's ways to get him out there. But, primarily you want Chase Young to be in the game to rush the passer. So again, who you taking off the field at edge? You taking, again, some of y'all might say, yeah, of course. But you taking Alex Highsmith off? You ain't taking TJ off. So that's what I'm saying. And you're not trading for a dude like that to make him a rotational piece. Because this Chase Young is still at a point in his career, injuries aside, where he could be a monster. So it does make me wonder if they were to do that, what would be their plans as far as playing time and at what position? So interesting. Very interesting there. So listen, I'm not opposed to getting the great players on the team. I'm just, sometimes guys, you gotta, don't think about just, and I'm not saying any of you guys are, I'm just speaking generally. Don't think about how great a player is. You also got to think about how do they fit in your team scheme and what your team is looking to do and their current roster construction and things like that. It's not always plug and play. So there you go. Just my assessment. That's all I got, literally. So let's look and see if we got any phone calls. And after the phone calls, man, we'll wrap it up. We'll make it an early night. Because again, man, it ain't so much to get into this time of year. Y'all know that. It'll pick back up, man, once training camp hits. We do have 2 calls in queue so far. So let me grab my headphones. We'll take the calls. Y'all know the routine, man. Definitely want you to get your points out. I didn't never cut my music back on, so y'all have been having to just listen to my voice. There we go. So, yeah, y'all know the routine, man. Get your point across. Be snappy. And let's do it. First up in the queue, we got area code 318. What you got for us?
Well, what's up, Bob?
What's going on, brother?
Oh, nothing much. Just, you always touch on everything I be wanting to say. So, it's like great minds think alike. But basically, to touch on like our free agency periods back in history, I just feel like like we did way much more than what we usually do. I feel like the last big free agent signing I can remember was Joe Hayden. That's if I can remember. But yeah, like you can tell Omar Khan is more aggressive. It's just like, if we can get the inside linebacker situation filled out, or to have a nice rotational piece, I felt like I did, because our defense played real solid last year. It's just we was on the field too much. That's my thing. Like, you can't really play to your full potential when you can barely breathe. So that's my theory with that. So I think we'll be good if we can just maintain a balanced offense, and Matt Canada can just call better plays. That's all I really got. And my bad. Did you see that freak show of a fight, man? Of John got it at 3rd and 4 Mayweather. I'm like, what? Why? Well, good night, y'all.
Oh man, I didn't get a chance to see it, man, but I did see all the fiasco at the end. Yeah, man. I mean, I'll just say that real quick. I think Floyd just wants to get in there and make a quick buck, and he still got a little bit of the bug to fight. Just don't want to be a full-time fighter. Understood. He's retired, but as a boxing purist, and Tony understands that too. Again, our father-in-law, man, was a world-renowned trainer. Trained quite a few people out of the DC area. So we real boxing heads, and I just hate the mockery sometimes, man. Even like with no disrespect to like the Paul brothers and all that, but the YouTubers fighting and stuff, man. But I get it. Everybody's trying to get a bag. I get it. As far as the Steelers stuff you mentioned, yeah, man, inside linebacker. Again, and I don't want to chump guys like Landon Roberts. And I say him because, listen, I'm more familiar in terms of me seeing them play. I'm more familiar with Holcomb. So I'm not as concerned. My worry is a little less with Holcomb than it is with Roberts, just because I don't remember Roberts at a full-time capacity. I know he's a tackling guy, but I need to see these dudes in action. And that's why I'm just not comfortable with where we are. Now, again, in rookie minicamp, or not rookie minicamp, at OTAs, Mark Robinson was getting some time with the one. So we'll see how all of these guys turn out. But with that said, I am not upset at all with them getting a bona fide veteran to come in and help out as well. So another veteran. Because again, Holcomb is a veteran. Roberts is a veteran. Not mad at that. And let all of them compete and may the best two guys get the start and crack. So there you go. All right, next to the queue, man, we got area code 216. What you got for us?
Hey, Sim, it's Destiny, man. I hope you're having a great week.
Destiny, what's going on?
Not much. I hope everyone in the chat is having a great week, too. Much peace and love. Going along with your caption for tonight's show, I want to ask you, is this a season where we cannot have mediocre expectations for the team? After watching the OTAs, I was looking at sound bites, and the ones that really stood out to me were the veterans saying, look, we're trying to win a Super Bowl. And TJ Watt talking about how it's unacceptable that we haven't won a playoff game in 6+ years. People say that we're a spoiled fan base, but if Tom Brady goes and joins a team, he's expected to win a Super Bowl. Yeah. If we're that kind of franchise, why can't we have those kind of expectations? And for me, I know they want to win a Super Bowl. I'm okay with that. But I'm looking at this roster that they've built. We've all spoken so highly about. This is not the Kevin Colbert, regime anymore. We're under Omar Khan, and it seems like they're building to win and not lose. So can this be a year where we say we at least want to win a playoff game, and it's not an irrational or illogical expectation? And then my last thing, also too, people who say, oh, it's a young team, it's really not that young. We have a lot of veterans, and if you look at the league now, it's changed.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow, Super Bowl, second year.
Yeah.
You know, his wide receiver is, I don't know why his name is leaving me.
Chase.
Oh boy's name.
Jamar
You know,
Chase.
the wide receiver.
Yeah, Jamar Chase.
Yes, Jamar
yeah.
Chase. That was his first year. He was in the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts, his third year, he in the Super Bowl. Jaguars, they got a win last year. That was Trevor Lawrence's second, year with Travis Etienne and a bunch of young guys. The Chiefs had a bunch of rookies on that team last year who won and second-year players. So
and Mahomes won it.
With that new,
Mahomes won it in his third year.
Come on now, it's a new league. So I'm just kind of have those expectations. And then my last thing, because I didn't get to do the show live last week, but I did watch it. Great show. Tidbit on the Kevin Dotson thing. I think that he was in a rough spot with that interview, because we have to remember that he played with Dan Moore all last year, and they were asking him how the rookie looks.
That's
but
true.
That was somebody he was already in the trenches with. And they're asking, well, how do you think, what do you think about the guy that's going to replace him? He's saying, well, he looks good. I don't know if he'll start. And at the same time, Dan Moore is also taking, first team reps too. I heard that he was only doing about 2 to 3 reps at that right tackle position. So he also said that the line was tight. So I don't know if he was being a hater. It might have just been a tough spot. And that's all I wanted to say, man. Thank you so much for taking my call. Everybody have a good night. Stay safe. Have a blessed week.
Oh, man, Dustin, we appreciate you calling. Of course, we're going to let the ladies go longer. Y'all think I'm going to hit Destiny with the 2-minute one? You crazy. Appreciate you calling, Destiny, man. Glad you're able to catch us live tonight. We always love our ladies in the chat, man. Y'all are the best. And as you can tell, Destiny representing the ladies with her voice. They know what they talking about. That's what we do over here. No shade, but we ain't like them networks that just throw the girl up there for the look. I hate when they do that. I hate it. Because to me, and if I could just go off rail for a second, that to me diminishes the woman, right? Because then you putting them up there, and then, everybody has this theory, oh, she's just a token. And that's how you make them out to be. I hate when y'all do that, networks. Why don't y'all come over here? Why don't y'all come over here and listen to the ladies that we got that be over here at Terrible Towel? Hear how they rock. Why don't you get some of them on your network? You know what I'm saying? I love it. But Destiny, you put me on the spot, man, and now I gotta. Oh, Chris said Joy Taylor. Hey, Joy do look good though. I ain't gonna front. Can my man side come out for a moment? Joy do look good though, but yeah, man. But listen, it's like this. Destiny put me on the spot, but she's right. She is absolutely right. I don't think this is the year where I'll say I and us. I don't think we can continue to say, oh, they're rebuilding and no. You know what, Destiny? I'm going. Let me take that protection off right now. Let me take that shield off me. I'm with Destiny right now. Yes. Mark the words. I said it is 8:44 p.m. Eastern Time, June 13th, 2023. Yes, this is the year that we as Steelers fans can expect to get to the playoffs and win one. Super Bowl is a stretch. But you are absolutely right. And Destiny came with facts. She named a whole bunch of people who have gone to the Super Bowl and have won playoff games early in their career at QB. You're absolutely right. With the roster that they have assembled, you are absolutely right. They are not just young anymore. Look at them, all them veterans they brought in. You're absolutely correct. Yes, I'm with you. This is the season that I can have expectations of playoff berth and a win. I think the team is good enough. Let me ask this question to you guys listening. During the end of the season last year, granted, here's an asterisk. I'm going to put the asterisk up here. Given the fact of who they would have played in the playoffs, it might skew your answer a little bit. But let me ask it this way. The way the Steelers played in their last 5 games, did they look like a team that could make the playoffs? Were they playing good enough football? So if we feel like that, and I do, I don't know if they would have beat the Bills. I don't know. I'm gonna be realistic here. I don't know if they're going to beat the Bills in New York. I don't think it would happen. However, that was a team right there on the rise. And you would expect them to take that into the following season with a nice complement of surrounding cast now, defensively and offensively. Offensive line. Now, like I said, I'm not going to be stupid and say, yeah, man, we would have went up there and we'd have did way better than the Dolphins. We would have beaten. No. I'm not quite sure we would have beat them in Buffalo. But we look like a team that if the team could have played like that, and again, I know wishful thinking, but imagine if our team could have played the way they played in the last 5 weeks, right? Because, you might lose one here and there. So let's say the last 5 weeks, if they would have played that type of football all season, and you go back and think about those early games that we lost, Steelers could have very well ended up with 12 wins. Just saying, it's possible. Think about it. We still ended up with 9 wins. So if we were playing the way we played in the last 5 weeks, those early games in the season, we would have won them. So we might not have had to play the Bills. We might have been able to get into the playoffs and play somebody else. So, yeah, I know, Paul, but again, us against the Bills, I just don't know how that would have went. But I feel you. I don't always do. This is just me personally. And good point, Paul. This is just me personally. I don't always do the apples to apples comparison when it comes to, well, look at how this team played that team. You can use it as an assessment. You can kind of say, man, if they was able to play with them, I think we could play with them. But it don't always go down like that. NFL and just sports in general is a matchups game. And sometimes matchups just don't work. That's why sometimes you see teams that are a little more elite that you expect to win lose to a team that they shouldn't lose to. It's just a matchup thing sometimes. But I get your sentiment, though. So, yeah, I'm on board with that, Destiny. Yes. Thank you, Destiny, for calling to make that point and putting me on the spot right there. But, yeah, I have been thinking that very, quietly. I have been thinking, look, I think we can say that we're rebuilding, right? But what we should be expecting from the Steelers now is we're on the come up. Each season is a progression. So last season, almost made the playoff, right? We were right there. Had that last gear, in the fourth quarter. We turned it on in the fourth quarter of the season. So I expect next season we get to the playoffs. And some people might say, okay, well, the step is almost get there, and then the next year you win one. Nope. I'm combining step 2 and 3. This season, I want us to get there and at least win a playoff game. And then the next season, maybe we get a little better. And then maybe the next season we get to the championship. You know what I'm saying? Like, we should be trending upward. And there's no more waiting. Like, you're right. A lot of these young quarterbacks doing it. Mahomes won it early. Burrow went already. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'm with you. Jalen Hurts. I'm with you all the way. But that's all I got, man. Let me see if you guys got any comments. I'll sit here for a few minutes and then I'm going to cut out early. I'm just going to be in here all alone tonight. My lady is in New York. She'll be back tomorrow. And of course, my little man, is staying over at Auntie's house, man, with his cousins. So it's just me tonight. And, of course, I have to hit the hay a little early because I commute in tomorrow. Can't wait to get that out the way. Today was a killer. What y'all got, man? What's Rod talking about? See y'all having some conversation with Rod. See, he mentioned something about the Browns. Or was that somebody else? Yeah, I don't know how far the conversation goes back, so. Joe Mannix, I'm scrolling up and I see one of your comments. You said the AFC is brutal. It is, man. Listen, the truth of the matter is, man, Truth of the matter, the AFC ain't no easy win, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm just gonna, throw our name in the mix. But realistically, it's tough. Our own division is tough, bro. No, I don't care how you try to slice it. The Bengals right now are the team to beat in the AFC North, followed by, I would say, the Ravens, even though the Ravens haven't given us much of a problem here lately, but they're still a team that can beat you, right? They can still beat you. And luckily enough that Lamar has never killed us, but the Ravens are still a team you got to worry about. So maybe if you want to throw us and the Ravens in the same category as far as saying who could be the next best team and chasing the Bengals, but then you cannot rule out Cleveland. I think Cleveland going to get it together at some point. They got a lot of pieces too. And now they will have Deshaun Watson for the duration of the season, barring injury. And I know people are going to say, yeah, but he didn't give us, I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying, the days of thinking that we're going to steamroll through the AFC North are long gone. So we have to at least do decent in the North. I feel like you got to get at least 3 wins out of there, right? At least. And then you got to go handle business everywhere else. And everyone in the AFC is progressing. The Chiefs, the Bills, the Chargers, the Raiders, a decent team, right? Maybe the Colts get it together. They got players. The AFC, yeah, it's serious. So, we got to be on that square. But I think, again, you could throw us all in that same mix. I think the Steelers are putting together an outstanding roster, and I think the Steelers have a chance to make some noise. We'll see. It's all going to come down to how well the team has progressed. What will the offensive production be? How efficient? And, how many points can we put up? Can we go from a team that didn't average 20 to a team that's averaging 24-ish, 23, 24-ish? Can we get another touchdown in there somewhere? At least, you know what I'm saying? To compete with some of these teams. So just being realistic about it, guys. Why Diggy says we got to stop overrating the Ravens. Okay. And see, I don't know if, who else may or may not be, but I'm not, I don't overrate them at all. I look at the Ravens as a team that can beat anybody at times because of their run game. The Ravens are one of those teams that have they're kind of like the Titans. If they clicking on offense, it's hard to stop them because you can't stop them running. Their defense hasn't been, in my opinion, the last couple of seasons, they haven't been world beaters. They got athletes out there. They've been hit with injuries a little bit. But the Ravens, again, are another one of them teams that you just can't count out. So, I don't know how people rate them. I know I don't overrate them. I just say that they are a team that's capable of rolling off a win against anybody because of the way they can possess the football and run the football when they're healthy. And their defense is going to give you enough. Even their inside linebacker play. With Queen and Smith, it's like you definitely cannot overlook them. Okay, Rod says Ravens finished dead last in the North. Okay, but let me throw something at y'all that's gonna hurt. Remember when the Ravens were 5-11? What team did they beat twice that season? Twice. What were 2 of their wins? Just saying. And like I said, I don't know how everybody rates them. So, I don't think that applies to me because I definitely do not overrate the Ravens. I keep it real, man. And to me, they're kind of like the Steelers where people be like, yo, you can't count them out. When they put it together, they can win a game because of their style of play. That's the Ravens. On offense, who do I think can make the Pro Bowl? Let me think. he catches the football, Deontay Johnson, and I say that tongue in cheek, he doesn't drop as many passes as we would make it out to be. But if he's able to get his touchdowns back this season along with his normal production, that's a playoff berth. A Pro Bowl berth. Maybe Najee. Najee could end up with a 1,600 yard rushing season, just looking at the offensive line. It's possible. I don't know. I would love to say somebody like Pickens, but I don't know how much some of these guys are going to be targeted. I think we're still going to see situations where we're spreading the wealth. So yeah, that would just be my assessment. Diggy says the Steelers do need to get efficient in the red zone. Matt Canada got and open up the play. You got to open up that playbook, man. Pickens will make the Pro Bowl. Maybe Move, maybe DJ. Okay, Toddy. I like that confidence. But like I said, I think Pickens absolutely has what it takes to make the playoff. Why do I keep... Y'all can see that. Playoffs is on my mind. I think Pickens has the capability to make the Pro Bowl, absolutely. But I still, as I sit here today in June, I want to see how that rotation is going to be as far as spreading the ball. I don't know if Pickens gets enough of those. We'll see. But absolutely, from a talent perspective, yeah. Pickens, absolutely. Yeah, I just, you're right, Kenyon. I just don't see. I don't know if he'll get enough targets. I'm just being real with it. Because you got to think, now we've added guys like Darnell Washington, that they want to try to feature. We heard Najee said they're going to be featuring Calvin Austin. So it won't be for any fault of his own. I think George Pickens is going to make, he's going to make the best of his opportunities like he did last season. But, will it be enough to get him to the Pro Bowl? A couple more guys and then we'll run. We do got weapons, Destiny. We really do. We actually got some weapons out there, man. Joe Manning says we have to start ready week 1. Schedule is heavy at the start. Yeah, man. Listen, the Niners. That's all I'm going to say. The Niners. And I love the brand of football that they play. That's going to be a tough task right there. Yeah, once again, rest in peace to Stan, man. We did a moment of silence earlier for Stan Severin, man. So, huge rest in peace, rest in power, rest in paradise. However you want to call it, man. Just rest well. Rest well. Aha. How they going to utilize Connor Hayward? It's a lot. And that's what people got to think about, too, man. It's when you have so many weapons, and a guy like, Jamar Chase was a Pro Bowler because of how often Burrow went to him. But Burrow also, it was, Higgins did his part too. So it could be one of those situations. What if Deontay Johnson, is still the main target and then Pickens is the Higgins to Chase? And some of you guys will understand what I'm saying by that. If you really watch the Bengals, it's those times where clearly Chase is the main target, but then Higgins was having monster games underneath him. Could be something like that with Deontay and Pickens. So we'll see. But all right, man, I think I'm going to go ahead and get up out of here, man. Ended about 10 minutes early here tonight. And again, I always love y'all, man, for coming through each and every week, man, especially during the off season when we really don't have a lot to talk about. It just shows me that you guys love talking Steelers and y'all love just being in each other's presence and coming to support me, man. So much love. Jennifer, female listener, obviously. Hello, Miss Lady. Welcome. Let's read her comment. She says, that would be awesome, Paul, but I expect it to be tough. What did Paul say? Paul says, win week 1. Yeah, I'm going to echo Jennifer right there. Would be awesome. But that's going to be a tough feat. I know we at home and all, I think, but again, I love my Steelers. Y'all know I do. I'm just a very realistic fan, man. I don't let this, me being draped in the garb, and I don't let that get in the way of my assessment. That is going to be a tough task, and Steelers could be up for it, But I'm just saying, all we can go off of how both of these teams and all of these teams in the NFL, our last impression of them, right? And then go off that last impression and the way they play football and the style of play and the play calling. It's going to be tough. But maybe we'll be ready. We'll see. But all right, man, before I go, y'all know the routine. Boom, boom, boom. Hit that like button, man. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on your notifications. But the most important out of those, like button. Please, man, it supports me so much when you express how you feel about a video. So if you like it, like it. If you dislike it, you're welcome to do that as well. It all helps. But just make sure you share your thoughts about the video, please. And that don't cost you nothing. Pressing the button is free. Free 99. Come on, man. You say you love me, right? You can't do that? Come on. But all right, man. Peace. I'm so sad that the finals are over, but I already knew what was going to happen there. Yeah, it is what it is. But all right, man, hope you guys have a great rest of the week. If any breaking news comes out that we must talk about, I will do a little pre-recorded video and post it. If there's any must talk about news, outside of that, you can expect to see me again next Tuesday, 8 p.m. Eastern time. That is the new time for most of you guys that may or may not know. Y'all keep probably hearing me hit the mic. My bad if that was loud in your ear. But yeah, I changed the time from 7:30 to 8 p.m. Just gives me a little more time with me having to commute on Tuesdays and such. So hopefully you guys are accustomed to that now. But all right, catch you guys next week. Stay safe. God bless. Good night. And like always, thank you for tuning in to Terrible Towel Tuesday. Peace.